What warning signs is your mouth giving you? There are countless systemic diseases that manifest in your mouth. We see a lot of disease show up in the mouth even before we know that it's affecting our body. Teeth are amazing. Their unique structure with enamel and are more than 2 times harder than our bones. Teeth are designed to last a lifetime, but unlike bones and all other body parts, when they're diseased or injured, they don't heal themselves. Dental disease is silent. There's usually no pain with your mouth or your teeth until it's too late. In this video, we're going to link the health of your mouth with your overall body, show why cavities are still the #1 preventable disease in children, and common diseases that may show signs in your mouth first before you see symptoms in your body. Before we dive in, if you haven't already done so, click the red button to subscribe. I create videos like this every week to discuss the mouth-body connection and what you can do to take ownership of your health, starting with your mouth. Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in both men and women in the United States, and cavities are the #1 preventable disease in kids. Preventable. If we know the cause, then we know how to stop it. In December of 1983, the New York Times reported a public health prediction that tooth decay in children and young adults would be gone by the 20th century. So what happened? It's still #1. First, we need to explore 2 major trends that unfolded during the 20th century: fluoride in drinking water to prevent tooth decay and a low-fat diet to prevent heart disease. How well are these strategies working now? Why are both of these diseases still #1 today? In 2015, researcher Kristen Kearns exposed documents dating back to the 60s, proving the Sugar Research Foundation had meddled with science and paid Harvard University nutritionists to counter science linking sugar to coronary heart disease, and to instead recommend a dietary reduction in fat and cholesterol intake. This gave birth in the 70s to low-fat diets and processed food. Low fat meant low flavor. So food companies added more and more sugars. And since sugar has been proven to be more addictive than cocaine, despite the increasing number of communities administering fluoride to the water, we still saw a rise in cavities. The rates of tooth decay still went up again. We did see a difference in communities with fluoridated water versus without, so we pushed for more fluoride. In October 1999, the Center for Disease Control charged community water fluoridation as one of the top 10 public health achievements of the 20th century. And now that 73% of the United States population has access to fluoridated water, why is tooth decay still the #1 childhood disease, 4 times more common than asthma? Does tooth decay happen because we don't have enough fluoride? Or could it be tooth decay happens because there's too much sugar in our diet and fluoride can't keep up? Don't get me wrong, fluoride does have its place. But more troubling is that since sugar has found its way into our diet, there have been alarming increased rates in obesity, diabetes, heart disease, non-alcoholic liver disease in children, and cavities. And having to treat these diseases are falling on families, pediatricians, physicians, and dentists. But separately, while we lack focus related to how tooth decay affects our body and its cause, our diets has also changed the way that we chew. We are eating softer, more processed foods, which means we are chewing less. We're using our tongue to smash instead of our teeth to chew. We're using our jawbones and our facial muscles differently, and it's changing our child's growth and development, creating low tongue posture and mouth breathing. It's a cycle that we need to be aware of so we can stop it now. Our mouth is not separate from our body. What we put in our mouths, how we breathe, are the best and most accessible, most obvious early warning signs we have at predicting future breakdowns elsewhere in our body, decades before it shows signs of treatable disease by our healthcare system. Our healthcare system treats signs and symptoms once we present with them. It doesn't prevent them. The statistics on sugar are alarming. 200 years ago, an average American consumed 10 teaspoons of sugar every 5 days. Today, we unknowingly consume that amount of sugar every 7 hours. So is more fluoride the answer? Today, there's sugar in almost all processed foods that we would never suspect, in soups even. Read the label next time you're in the supermarket. There are 71 different names of sugars, and the first 2 or 3 ingredients in most foods lately have some type of sugar. It wasn't until I got breast cancer and paid attention to what I was putting in my mouth and started reading the labels that I realized just how much sugar and soy I was consuming in my diet. I was just feeding my cancer every day. So this led to a serious lifestyle change for me that now I'm sharing with you. Believe me, it's not easy to cut out the sugar once and you're addicted to it. It was in everything I had in my kitchen. Our diet and what we put in our mouths, the sugars, the processed foods that we eat, not only affect us, it affects 3 generations to come. Our foods and our habits are passed down, creating epigenetic changes in our DNA. It changes it. Our growth and development, our kids' growth and development, our grandkids' growth and development. This is crazy. We have the power to change the future generations now. We have to make the habit changes, the dietary changes. Let's troubleshoot why enamel is the hardest tissue in a child's body, yet it's breaking down, leading to full-blown tooth decay and other diseases, diet-related diseases that are manifesting in their bodies. Imagine being able to see your child's profile on an ultrasound and knowing that we have the capacity to heal with the choices that we make, even when we're pregnant, to remove the stresses of a toxic diet. This means early intervention with our teeth, our tongue position, our nose breathing versus mouth breathing, and diet can prevent permanent damage of our teeth because health begins at home. It's with our daily habits, choices, diet, how we breathe, what we put in our mouths and bodies that we can make a difference. Starting at home, our healthcare system will continue to fail us and cost trillions of dollars in treatment of preventable, diet-related, and chronic diseases. Health is a collective responsibility. We can no longer sit and be silent witnesses to the devastation caused by processed foods and the habits that we've created. Join me in the healthy mouth movement. We need to have a better look at our mouth, our teeth, our tongue, and what they're telling us. Look for the warning signs. Where is your tongue? Is it up on the roof of your mouth? Is it down by your lower teeth? I have videos talking about your tongue. Where is your tongue? What else you should look for? Our mouth, our diet are going to be a great place to start to take ownership of our health. We need to start talking about tooth decay as a serious event that requires more than just drilling and filling. It requires looking at our mouth and our body as a whole, watching what we feed our kids, watching how they're breathing, looking at their tongue position. How are they sleeping? Cavities are a sign that there's an imbalance in the body, in the pH, in your diet, an imbalance of how you're breathing. Unless we agree tooth decay is a warning sign, we treat decay from a whole body perspective, and we have teamwork with other professionals, we're not going to change this. There are other diseases that show warning signs in the mouth besides tooth decay. Diabetes is one of the biggest ones. Diabetes and gum disease are very interrelated. Diabetes can make your gum disease worse, and gum disease can make your diabetes worse. You're more likely to have gum disease if you're diabetic. Signs in the mouth are swollen, bleeding gums. Any bleeding gums or periodontal disease is a sign something's wrong in your body. Your oral health and diabetes are so strongly connected. Diabetes can worsen if your mouth is unhealthy. And if your sugar is out of balance, then your gum disease is going to be worse. So you can see why it's important that you have a healthy mouth, especially when it comes to diabetes. Leukemia also shows early warning signs, again, with swollen, bleeding gums. Gums that just bleed. You might wake up with blood on your pillow. Your gums bleed when you brush. Swollen gums are really common. So if you have inflammation and bleeding gums, it doesn't mean you have leukemia or cancer. However, your dentist will be able to look at these warning signs, spot irregularities, treat the gum disease, and if it doesn't go away, it could be a sign. Leukemia has many signs and symptoms, but one of the early stages is swollen, enlarged tissues and gums in your mouth. Anemia also shows signs in your mouth. Very often, your teeth will look pale, almost white. Your gum tissue will look kind of thinning, mostly because it's not getting enough blood supply to your gums. So your gums look extra pink or almost white. When we see patients with advanced gum disease, we often suspect heart disease, diabetes, thyroid issues, cancer, leukemia. These patients might not even know that they have something going on in their body. Oral cancer is obviously another thing that starts in your mouth. It manifests in different forms. It could be a white lesion, could be a red lesion, could be a tumor on your inside your mouth and your head and neck, a sore that doesn't go away, doesn't heal within 2 or 3 weeks. All of these things affect your body. Bulimia is another sign that shows in your body. Weak enamel. When you're throwing up, it weakens and thins the enamel of your lower teeth, and it actually wears them away from the inside because you're purging and the stomach acids are coming out over the teeth. So that's something that we can see when we look in the mouth, the thinning enamel and the erosion of the teeth. There are early warning signs in your mouth. There are a number of other systemic diseases that manifest in your mouth. Obviously, too many to talk about in a video like this. There's over 120. If your mouth isn't healthy, it contributes to other diseases in your body or worsens them. So remember, keeping your mouth healthy is more important than we ever realized. Our body will definitely be healthier if we start taking it seriously, if we start looking for these warning signs. Our goal is to end mouth breathing and tooth decay in our kids. We need to recognize teeth are amazing wonders and they're designed to be the soldiers of our body. But we need to start acknowledging the connection our mouth has to our body in order to change the course of healthcare and saving trillions of dollars and saving lives. If you notice any of these signs and symptoms your mouth is giving you, like bleeding gums, cavities, the life you saved just might be your own. I know, because I was that person. I ignored all of these symptoms until I had bleeding gums because this is what I preach about. My gums were bleeding. I knew there was something wrong because I knew my gums were healthy. That's how I was able to find the breast cancer so early on, because I didn't give up when I was told I was healthy. My hair was coming out, my nails were breaking, my gums were bleeding. I was really tired. But when my gums were bleeding, I knew that I needed to find the cause of my bleeding gums. Once the cancer was healed, my gums stopped bleeding. I also have a membership that walks you through how to care for yourself, your mouth, your children's mouth from birth to beyond. It has more of the stuff that I talk about, access to things that you don't get just from watching the YouTube video. In each stage of your child's life, click the link below. Join the Healthy Mouth Movement. Remember, if your mouth is healthier, your body will be healthier. A healthy mouth is a healthy body and a happy, healthy life.